Hello, everybody. The podcast is back. The Mindful SRNA RNA podcast is back, and I could not be more excited to be here with you today, wherever and whenever you are listening to this. I have so many great episodes planned, recorded, in the works, and I just hope that y'all are ready to rock your CRNA journey out because I'm here to help you. I'm recording this in January of 2025. Funnily enough, y'all, I recorded this entire podcast the first week of January. I was so excited to go. Literally, for no reason, my audio didn't work. I sent it into engineering, I help desk, everything. No one could figure it out. No idea why it didn't record and had no sound. So, life is always going to throw curveballs at you. Things are going to happen. You're going to be annoyed. You're going to be frustrated. I've actually had a crazy day today, but we can always pivot at any point and never let anything or any circumstance stop your shine and keep you from doing what you know you want to do in your heart. And that is so important to you. Okay. So we're going to pray that I don't lose the recording or audio on this one. You're listening to it, and this is my last time recording this. All right. I do want to very quickly say that my hiatus from the podcast was not planned. We had a big loss on my husband's side of the family. And every time I went to record it, it just wasn't working out. This was back in, I want to say like around July or August. And I finally just said, you know what? This is not getting done. I'm not able to do this right now. I can't do everything. I'm not going to stress about it. And it's okay. And I say that to remind you that we have to-do lists. We have expectations placed upon us. We have expectations on ourselves, but life does happen. And sometimes we press through, and sometimes we have to step back. And it's so important to be connected to yourself, to be tapped in, to silence the noise of the world and make decisions that are going to serve you and that make sense for you and your people and your family. So you are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to take a step back. You are allowed to disappoint people, and nothing has gone wrong. Okay. So that's just my little spiel for whoever needs to hear that. Okay. All right. Let's jump into the good stuff. A while back, I did an episode on a fresh take on getting organized and navigating your approach to your CRNA school applications. So if you're in the middle of applying, you're thinking about applying to CRNA school, definitely check that episode out. For this episode, this is kind of the part 2 to that, is I wanted to answer one of my most asked questions, like the ultimate frequently asked question. Amanda, I got into CRNA school. Now what do I do? So let's get into it. I did a reel on this on my Instagram page at Amanda K CRNA as well. I'll link that below. But y'all, you guys get this big anticipated acceptance letter to CRNA school. And it's like, literally, I get a message, Amanda, oh my God, I did it. I got into school. I can't believe it. Yay, 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 yay. And then within like the next breath, you guys are like, what should I do now? How do I prepare? How do I get ready for this? Like, what if I fail? I don't really know if I can do this. What if they made a mistake picking me? And all the imposter syndrome feelings come rushing in, and all the self-doubt and all the fears. They come, to crush the excitement very quickly. I see it every time. So I'm going to answer the question of I got into school, now what? But I'm also going to outline for you the top 5 things that I see SRNAs or RNAs struggle with in their first semester and what you can do about these things now for the ultimate CRNA school prep. You're going to leave this episode with some fresh ideas on how to approach CRNA school. And you know what? Even if you are in CRNA school right now, there are going to be some concepts and some ideas in here that I think are going to be very, very helpful for you as well. All right. So keep on listening. So first we're going to tackle, I got into CRNA school. Now what? Do I stay at my job? Do I leave my job? Do I travel? Do I make more money to save? Do I need to get more critical care experience? Because I'm actually kind of burned out, so I don't even know. Should I take a big trip? What books should I read? Do I take more classes so that I can get ready? Here's my answer. Brace yourselves. You get to decide. It's your choice. You get to choose. You're in. You're in school, right? When you get that acceptance letter, you can travel, you cannot travel. You can do float pool. You can stay on your unit. You can read mindset books if you want. You can read dirty romance novels, right? I'm going to flip it back to you. What would you like to do? What would you like to do with your time before you start school? What do you need? What do you like? What do you need? What do you need to get in order? What do you want to get in order? What would fill up your cup? What would fill up your soul before school? Instead of searching for this perfect answer of what you should do, why don't you ask yourself what you would like to do? what would make sense for you and your family. I am giving you full on, unadulterated permission to explore the answers to these questions for yourself and do what you want. Do what's best for you and your family. And keep in mind, y'all, this podcast episode is going to be a completely different perspective than if you ask another CRNA or even someone in CRNA school what they should do. This is simply going to be my opinion from going through CRNA school myself and working with hundreds of students, residents at the time that I'm recording this. All right. We tend to focus so much on what the right thing to do is, or what we think we should be doing, what other people are doing. But when's the last time you really asked yourself, what do you want to do? What's important to you before you make a big life transition, right? But the ultimate question I want to ask you is, who do you want to be as you go into this next season? Because guess what? Your life is going to change when you start CRNA school. It's going to be different. It's just going to be a different season. And you are going to experience many, many transitions before you get those coveted 4 letters CRNA behind your name. All right, hear me, but hear me when I say this. You can read a million mindset books. You can watch all the YouTube videos on respiratory physiology. You can travel to Bali or Bora Bora. But none of that will matter if you don't set and manage your expectations and start to become the person that believes that they can get through hard things, that believes that they are capable and can handle what comes next. Because let me tell you, you are going to enter into this weird space when you quit your job and you dive headfirst into CRNA school. And again, like I said, that is just the beginning of the multiple transitions you are going to experience over the next few years. You're going to always feel like you're somewhere new, but you're never quite where you want to be. And that's an extremely normal sensation and feeling to have, and it's okay. Like I'm just in this weird space. That's okay. Transitions are amazing. They're exciting, but they can also be extremely disruptive and scary. And I want to normalize that feeling. And I want to let you know to expect to have some feelings of grief alongside the happiness, right? You may feel extreme excitement and extreme anxiety, and all of that is okay. I literally did a whole coaching on just handling transitions and navigating transitions. We literally talk about this all the time in my coaching program, is that you're allowed to have 2 competing emotions in your body. Like I said, you can be extremely excited and anxious at the same time. It's totally fine. 2 competing things, you can hold them in your body at one time. So if you're freaking out, but you're also like, oh my God, I love myself. I did this. This is amazing. Breathe. Breathe. Allow those feelings to be there. Allow them to be with you and in you. They don't change who you are. They don't change what you're capable of. It's all just normal. All right. So like it or not, y'all, that is my answer to the first question. Little long-winded there. But what do I do now that I got in? You pick, you decide. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. There's just you and what's best for you and your family and your people. Reflect on it. Think about it. You won't be wrong for what you decide. You are going to learn all you need to know in CRNA school. All right. And this is going to segue into my next topic of this episode. Is some of you ask, okay, I got in. So do I take more classes? Do I need to review respiratory physiology, listen to all the anesthesia podcasts, learn all the drugs? Oh my God. I want you to notice the scrambling, right? If you find yourself scrambling to do all these things before school and making this crazy, insane to-do list, and I gotta get better. I gotta get smarter. Like your brain's like, we gotta do more. We gotta do more. We have to earn this now. Like it's not good enough that we got in. Now we have to really prove that we're supposed to be here. So I just want you to notice all of that scrambling and trying to do things and get and know and be. It's because you don't believe that right here, as you are enough. The person that you got into CRNA school as is good enough. So what if this? What if you worked as a nurse? You were still an excellent nurse. Maybe you dug a little deeper into some pharm and phys at work, read some articles, asked more questions and rounds for more understanding of the patient care, went home, enjoyed your life, started CRNA school, and was fine. What if that? What if you don't have to get ready, you are ready? What if you don't have to get smarter, you are smart enough now? What if you're just enough as you are? And CRNA school is going to teach you what you need to know. And you're going to figure it out because you figured everything else out up until this time. You're listening to this today. You're capable of figuring things out as you go. What if that? What if that was just enough? All right. Because I'm going to call this, now we're going to get into the meat of this, is the big five. The big things I see, the five big things I see SRNAs, RNAs experience in their first semester. Because CRNA school is going to be new. It's going to be challenging, of course, again, because it's new, something different. It is going to stretch your capacity and your limits to handle things. And this can be jarring if you're not prepared for it. So let's prepare for it. All right, here's the five things I see. And this is exactly why I created my coaching program a couple years ago, so that I can help you deal with these things, because not one person that gets into school is exempt from it. No one. And they are, number one is overwhelm, anxiety, fear, perfectionism, and comparison. The five top things that I see when people start CRNA school. And can you guess where all of those things stem from? Imposter syndrome. I don't belong here. I don't think I belong here. There's just no way. I think they made a mistake. I don't think I can handle this. What if I fail? I shouldn't be here. I'm not good enough. And I'm going to set you free right now. You are going to experience the big five. You're going to experience all these feelings. You're going to fail at something at some point along the way in CRNA school. It may take you longer than others to figure things out. You're going to put in a ton of work, and it may not pan out perfectly or how you envisioned at first. You are going to have to continuously put in ongoing input and effort. You're going to suffer a little bit. You're going to have to fight for yourself. You're going to be tired. And there is no guarantee that it will all work out. And these things are true for everyone, and they are okay, and they are normal. And even though I am no longer in CRNA school, I still feel these things in life. The big five: in motherhood, career, marriage. I experience a lot of these things today. No one is exempt from being human. And those things are all just a part of it. There's nothing wrong with you. All right. Your biggest piece of prep work for CRNA school is normalizing the end of your former life, allowing yourself to have all the feelings about it. Remember, we can have crazy competing emotions, and expect that you are going to feel the five things I just mentioned. But how I want you to approach this, now that you know all of this, is how can you start to believe that you are somebody that can handle all of these things? How can you start to build up your self-concept and your capacity to tolerate these things? And all self-concept is the view that you hold of yourself, from your own beliefs, from how people respond to you. It's just how you see yourself. And this is why coaching is so extremely helpful, because I help you. And as a community, as a group, we help you build up that self-concept and figure out what to do with how other people behave and react towards you. Because guess what? The only thing that is guaranteed is how you decide to show up and what you decide to think about yourself when you show up. That's where all your power is. And that is how you prep for CRNA school. And it starts right now, today, no matter where you're at in the process. All right. No matter where you're at. If you're listening to this before you even have been applying and stuff, excellent. Work on this stuff now. So before I close this episode out, I want to give you a few things to think about. And if you are interested in exploring any of these things and going deeper, I am happy to work together, and I'll tell you how. And I'll also give you some free resources to utilize. Check out the show notes as well. Okay. So I'm going to give you, because I know I just kind of hit you with these kind of heavy things. So now what do we do? All right. Write these down. Get comfy. What do we do? Number one, create a strong relationship with yourself. Things like I matter. I'm going to treat myself with kindness. I am imperfect, but I am capable of growth. My weaknesses, my imperfections are not a problem. I am capable and I can work through things and I can figure out anything. Thus, how I've gotten here thus far. Start building the muscle of I will figure this out regardless of anything else, and start to build a relationship with yourself, right? Build a different concept and belief system of how you see yourself as someone who's capable. Number 2, my Lord, do we do so much work in this in my program? Untangle your self-worth from your productivity, performance, and people pleasing. Your self-worth has nothing to do with any of that. Got to be locked into your worth, your value, and your purpose, and keep your results, your grades, your intubations, keep all of your results separate from your personhood, from your worth, because successful leaders are bigger than any individual outcome. And your self-value is never at stake based on a result. What are you going to do with that result? What are you going to do with that feedback? What are you going to do with it? Number 3, intentionally, with intention, choose to nurture yourself and take care of yourself spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically before you get to your breaking point. I see this all the time, y'all, from just about everybody after finals week or their first semester. You go in too hard. You're hyper focused on doing everything right. There's no self-care anywhere. And you think CRNA school has to be all or nothing because you just see the mountain. You see this huge mountain and you don't yet believe that you're capable. So you go so hard, locking yourself in a room for 16 hours, trying to accomplish like a ridiculous to-do list. Like, oh, I'm going to do this all in 5 minutes, right? You are going to burn out that way, and you're going to burn out quickly because you are not a machine. Humanity, y'all. You are still a human being. You're not a human doing. You're a human being. Don't forget that. Expect to have setbacks. Expect to have to test and tweak things. It's just all part of the process. What if you struggling just wasn't a problem? We really have to let go that there's this idea of this magical sauce and you just have to find it. No, you have to make what works for you right. What works for this semester, right? There is a million and one ways to get to CRNA. Pick a method, try it. If it doesn't work, move on and start testing other methods. We don't have to make this all dramatic and doom and gloom, right? Even with anesthesia. The other day, I couldn't get an LMA in. Tried a different size, deepened the anesthesia. Finally ended up putting a tube in, right? Just keep going. Just keep working the process, right? Doesn't have to be all, oh my God, I got to find the No, make it work. Think about how much time you will lose in perfection and how much time you will gain in messiness. You do not have to be perfect or have it all figured out to make an impact or be valuable to pass CRNA school. It's not a thing. I want you to put on different goggles or different lenses because it's so easy to constantly see ourselves through the lens of insufficiency, of lack, see what's negative, see how we're not adding up, see how we're a problem. But you are not a problem to be fixed. You are not your productivity. You can spend your energy in your first semester losing your ever-loving mind and trying to find your worth buried in good grades and performance and good reviews, getting a pat on the back. Or you can spend your energy and time knowing that this is going to stretch you and that you are capable of figuring it out and that you will. Growth and discomfort for the win. Okay, number 4, be careful what narratives you pick up from other people. I know you hear a lot of times, like I get texts and like, Amanda, everyone says this is the hardest semester yet. This like clinical is like awful. This preceptor. Oh my God. And again, while to a degree that may be true, it doesn't have to be your reality. You don't have to take other people's narratives on as your own. You always get to define how you are going to show up in the hardest semester or with the crazy preceptor. Take it as it comes. Continue to build your self-concept. If they can get through it, you can too. figure out how you want to show up in it, right? I think we're on number 5. Get comfortable with shedding old versions of yourself while working toward the CRNA version of you that you've never been. Like I've said before, you're going to outgrow a lot of versions of yourself during this program. I could do a whole episode on that, and some people are going to come with, some are not. We'll talk about that later. But the inevitable bumps of adversity during change are going to push you to almost like shed your skin, right? The hungry caterpillar, like the caterpillar, right? And one of the first things we do in coaching is work on that identity shift to CRNA. Is shifting into that CRNA identity, because it's difficult to become and do something and trust the process when I've never been a CRNA. I've done this before, right? So we work on that. We work on that identity shift. Okay. So get comfortable with shedding different versions of you. And again, it goes back to that space you're in. I'm not quite where I want to be, but I'm also not back there, right? It's okay to just be in that space. Number 6, address your fears. Give your fears some air. Instead of like trying to bury what you're scared about, just say it. I'm scared I'm going to fail out. I'm scared I'm going to fail. I'm scared I'm going to waste money. I'm scared I'm going to look stupid. I'm scared what someone said about me in elementary school was true. I'm scared I'm not good enough. Just get it out there, address it, throw your fears out there. Because then we can look at it, we can explore it. We do this all the time in coaching. It makes it way less scary when we take the stuff out of our heads and either onto paper or into a conversation with someone we trust, and we just look at it. We address it. It takes the power away from those fears. Just address them. Acknowledge them. Acknowledge yourself. Don't shun and push your feelings and yourself down, right? All right, a few more guys. Number 7, comparisonitis. Oof. Don't compare and despair. Everyone is coming into CRNA school. Everyone that comes in is coming in with a different foundation. Be where you are. Meet yourself where you are. You belong there because you were chosen to be there. Now put in the work. Drive your car in your lane, in your journey. Okay? Stay in your lane, right? Be where you are. You're already, what if, like again, that thought, what if I was just good enough as is when I got accepted? What about that, y'all? Number 8. Oh my God. Can you please like bold this or write this in permanent marker? For the love of money, stop trying to find balance. You guys, balance is what you make it each and every week and each and every semester. You have to figure it out what balance looks like in this moment, and it's going to change. If you can do a 30-minute workout, squeeze it in. Maybe next week you can do an hour. Maybe the other week you can do 15 minutes or just a walk. Maybe one week you do book bedtime with your kid, the next, like one time. Maybe the next week you can do it twice. Maybe finals week, you just brush teeth and sing songs while you brush teeth or something, right? Figure out your priorities and what you can do with where you're at and what you have versus looking at what you lack. You guys want all this balance, but you're looking at it from a lack perspective. What do you have? And then figure it out from there. What is the priority? What can I do with what I have and what is going on right now? Okay. All right, lastly, I think number 9. A huge piece of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. Being aware of, connected to you and your body, your nervous system, knowing what you need, knowing what you feel, knowing what you want, recognizing your patterns, your character traits, knowing your strengths, acknowledging your weaknesses, holding yourself accountable, staying in integrity even when people are not in their own integrity. That's not your problem. Stay in your integrity. Because this is what leaders do, and you are becoming a leader. We work on all of these things in coaching, and my clients have literally had incredible, incredible results from these things. Because here is the down and dirty truth. Getting accepted into CRNA school is not going to automatically change the negative thoughts you've had about yourself. And all of your fears are not just going to go away with an acceptance letter. You will bring your backpack of stuff and doubts with you wherever you go. And they are always going to come out when you are doing something new. The only way you are going to become a CRNA without literally killing yourself is showing up rooted in your unique value and showing up in service, learning to handle failures by shifting, pivoting, and normalizing transitions and all the emotions that come with this journey. How a person reacts to adversity and failure can speak volumes about their character. It can be crushing, yes, but it can also breed resilience and extreme tenacity. Work on building your tolerance to frustration and disappointment. Learn how to just have that in your body and be more tolerant to that than letting it just break you. Have your own back above all else, because beating yourself up is an exhausting way to live. CRNA school will always be what you make it. Your effort, your resilience, your tenacity, your grit, your persistence, all of those things are going to be what will make you succeed. It matters what you do and how you decide to respond to what others do. Don't avoid the discomfort, just welcome it in. And even understand that the time that you are in CRNA school is a piece of your life, not your entire life. It's just a piece. It is your transition into leadership as a CRNA. I want you to think back to some of the answers to a couple of questions that sometimes they ask in CRNA school interviews. And if you're preparing for interviews, or here's some things to think about. But remember that question, how have you prepared yourself for the challenges of CRNA school? You talked about finances, how you cope with stress, your support system, the classes you took, your nursing experience, how you manage your time. And then there was that question, why should we pick you? Because I'm resilient. I have grit. I want this. I'm passionate. Think back to your answers to those questions, or what those answers are now. Don't let hardships and something new make you forget who you are. What in your thinking, what in your emotional management do you need to upgrade for the next step of your evolution? Again, hear me when I say this. You cannot do enough things or enough prep with an imposter syndrome mindset. We have to shift out of that imposter syndrome mindset so that we can do different things. You cannot action your way into feeling better. You can't lock yourself into a room and watch all the physiology and all the things and go just like, you can't action yourself into feeling better. You have to become the person who knows that they can handle and overcome any obstacle that comes your way. All right. Okay. I know I covered a lot in this episode, but I just did not want to hold anything back. Now, if you're interested in coaching with me, the best way to do that is with my Mindful SRNA or RNA Elite Coaching Program. You can join for 6 months. You can join for a year. I have payment plans available. I've been running sales throughout the year. You get one-to-one call with me a month. I do live calls monthly. And plus, you can literally just get started right away with coaching videos, private podcasts, master classes. It's amazing. If you want free stuff before you dive into that, I have a webinar titled that I'll link below. That's like gives you a big taste of my coaching program about excelling in clinical. So I will link that as well. And I just recently completed, at the time I'm recording this, a 3-part live series where I basically did 3 live calls, and I wanted you to feel like I was your coach and you were there with me in coaching. So I am working on getting that available. So keep an eye out for that. And happy CRNAing out there. Y'all can do this. I am here for you. Take one thing, just one piece of this podcast that resonated with you today, and put it into action. If you need anything, you know where to find me. My contact information is below. My link is below in the show notes. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you guys can do this, okay? It's about becoming, not doing all the time. All right. I heart you guys so much. Thank you for sitting tight and waiting for the episode to be back. It's a little bit delayed, but hey, we got to keep it pushing, right? All right. I'm here for all of you. Have an awesome day, and I will see you on the next episode.